Coming to you live from Aspen, California, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and just when I think we couldn't possibly be any dumber, we go and review something like this and totally redeem ourselves. With me this week, our own answer to Dumb and Dumber. I had to say it. First, I just figured he was a raging alcoholic. It's Chris.
I was going to say something there, but it was wrong. I was going to say with a rapist spit.
And on that note, secondly, he desperately wants to make love to a schoolboy. It's Andy.
How did I know that one was coming? Jesus hell.
Not because they insult Dumb and Dumber. They're too dumb to actually start insulting people, so there's not too many hilarious put downs in the film.
That was just him saying that himself.
Yeah, exactly. That was saying it himself. We are the 10 Point Podcast. We do podcasts where we review movies and quite a lot of TV shows. If you listen to our news podcast that we also do once a week, should be on the same feed as this, just above it or just below it, depending on which way you go. You can get us wherever you get podcasts. You can get us on Spotify. A big week for Spotify, with Spotify Wrapped for 2022 coming out. Andy has been sending us all the numbers. He's the man who gets the numbers and where everybody's listening to us and for how long and in what fashion.
95% of content. We're like the number one content creators in TV and film and Spotify in the world.
Are. Top 5% of people in the world who make movie podcasts. There we go. We can say that we're in the top 5% who make movie podcasts.
We don't make a penny, but we make podcasts.
Yes. So thank you to everyone who listens to us. We find that according to Spotify, this is only Spotify, the UK a big listener base, and then New Zealand is second on Spotify listening to us. So
they love us down there.
Hello to everybody down under in New Zealand. Thank you for listening to us.
And our fans are also enthusiastic, which means they listen to the podcast the day it gets released.
Yeah, thank you to everyone that's so eager to listen to us. As soon as it's a must-do. It's an occasion that the new episode of the 10 Point Podcast.
I did have this weird, disgusting thought, though. Right. How many people, because this came around because of Chris's friend, okay, where she thought Bruce was hot as fuck.
Oh, right, okay.
I get that one.
How many people do you think are just watching us on Spotify and all that and just having a cheeky wee tug? I don't know, that seems like a celebrity thing. Are we that famous yet? Because we know Bruce is almost at that phase because of Chris's friend.
I would say nobody's doing that. That's my prediction. I think not one person.
Good.
Spotify doesn't tell us that, does it?
No, but I feel like it's a category missed.
I got my Spotify wrapped. I forgot to mention this to you guys. So if you guys want to,
it'll be on OnlyFans next season.
If you want to expose any of your Spotify secrets and all that sort of stuff, but apparently, I was in the top 2% of listeners to the Blues Brothers in the last year.
Nice.
And I totally blame this podcast for that because I think it was.
The other one I did on Spotify was they do that festival thing where it's your festival lineup. Don't know if you've seen this on Spotify.
Yeah.
So on my Friday night, it was the Royal Republic, which I absolutely love. But then you could tell I had a wedding because it was the Vitamin String Quartet was the headliners on the Saturday night, and then on Sunday night it was Offspring. So that's pretty much how my headliners and my Spotify is going at the moment.
I think basically, for the first time since I started using Spotify, WWE was not in my top 5 because it always seems to sneak in. But number 2, only kept off because of the Blues Brothers, was The Lonely Island, because Andy knows I'm a big fan of The Lonely Island and all their comedy songs. But yeah, top 2% in the country for listening to the Blues Brothers last year was me. And I literally because of this podcast, because I got me back into it this year. Yes, anywhere it does podcasts, you can find the 10 Point Podcast, and you can find us broadcasting the 10 Point Broadcast on YouTube as well. So you can watch it on there no matter what you're doing while you watch it. You can watch it on YouTube.
Just don't do that thing that I just talked about. It's weird.
Well, you can if you like. Give us a comment underneath the video if you are.
Tell us how far in you got.
Yeah.
And who it landed on.
And like us, subscribe us everywhere you find us. Give us reviews. We want to get our brand out there a bit more.
I almost took them up here.
There we go. On with the podcast then. Before we go any further down that route. The 10 Point Podcast, we have 10 points of discussion which talk about. I feel like I've not talked through the rules and the regulations of the podcast for a while. So point 1.
It's too comfortable.
I know. Point 1 on the 10 Point Podcast is what's the point? This is where I tell you what we're reviewing this week. And the point is the 1994, and I was on Amazon Prime Video, so I get the special synopsis thing. 1994, fun, outlandish, campy comedy, Dumb and Dumber. Take that, IMDb, in your terrible categorization of movies. Dumb and Dumber, brought to us by New Line Cinema. They've made such films as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, City Slickers, Suburban Commando, and oh yes, we did them last week, so go listen to that podcast to hear what other films they've done. And also by the Motion Picture Corporation of America. And I thought, is this some sort of charity thing, or is this just, is it like stamped, like, oh, this is legally a movie? And no, they actually are a production company, and they only make a certain kind of film, basically. This is what they've made: Kingpin, Beverly Hills Ninja,
Oh, what a movie
Biodome,
that is.
Biodome, Jungle to Jungle, and films kind of like that. But then more recently, gone into the Hallmark Christmas movies, including this year, 2022's Lindsay Lohan's Christmas movie,
nice.
Falling for Christmas, that I mentioned coming out a couple of weeks ago. So, Motion Picture Corporation of America still making films all this time later, but basically started around about Dumb and Dumber time, was just about the first thing they made. So, they're the two production companies bringing this film. The film, co-written by Bennett Yellen. This was his major breakout writing credit, Dumb and Dumber. He then wrote Stuck on You, which I think is an underrated comedy from around that time too. Dumb and Dumber 2, which he also wrote, not just characters, but did write. But he's currently developing a Police Academy requel. I don't know, again, if it's a reboot or a sequel, but one way or another, he's working on the newest Police Academy all those years later.
I don't think you can do it now.
I think you could. I think it's right for some satire.
It's too PC at the moment.
Nah, I think it's the time. This is perfect time to go back to police comedy. I think
bring back proper comedy.
I like that. Was it Reno 911? It was a good sort of police
hilarious.
academy thing in between. The film was actually quite good for that as well.
The film's brilliant.
Okay, back to Dumb and Dumber though. Written and directed by the Farrelly brothers. And they have written and or directed this list of things: Dumb and Dumber, Kingpin, There's Something About Mary, Outside Providence, Me, Myself and Irene, Osmosis Jones, Shallow Hal, Stuck on You, The Heartbreak Kid, Hall Pass, Dumb and Dumber 2, and then Green Book, which kind of stands out as an Oscar winner in amongst all these daft comedies.
Was that the Viggo Mortensen thing?
Yes. And the Mahershala Ali, the one that won an Oscar like 3 years ago or something like that. One of the Farrelly brothers wrote and directed it. I think directed, certainly wrote. That's who's behind the movie. Starring in the movie as Lloyd Christmas, Jim Carrey. We do him all the time. So this film, Dumb and Dumber, comes in between The Mask and before Batman Forever. That's his sort of Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Batman Forever. That's where we are in Jim Carrey at this point. I won't go any further down that road on him. Co-starring as Harry Dunn, Jeff Daniels. Famous for these films and television shows: The Purple Rose of Cairo, which I've never heard of before, but it seems to be his major breakout in the 80s, but I'd never heard of it. Arachnophobia, Speed, Dumb and Dumber, 101 Dalmatians, the live-action one in the 90s, Pleasantville, The Squid and the Whale, the Newsroom television show, which I think is probably his most famous role outside of this, Dumb and Dumber 2, and then Steve Jobs and The Martian were the last kind of two biggest films.
All about Speed.
Speed the Peak, was it? I believe, looking at my research, that Speed and Dumb and Dumber both came out this year, so it probably was the biggest year in Jeff Daniels' career, 1995. They were the only two names to come up before the title, so there are only 2 stars by my reckoning. Dumb and Dumber, on a budget of $17 million in 1995. Its first opening weekend, $16 million, meaning it was $1 million short of its budget after 1 week. Final US gross, $127 million. Final worldwide gross, $247 million. We will never see a comedy make $250 million worldwide ever again. That is my prediction.
Because people are too PC now.
Yeah, people can't take a joke. The film released.
The Hangover make quite a lot of money.
I did, but I mean, never again from now. I mean, like,
right,
Hangover would be the one. I don't think any comedy would have made as much money
the last
as
comedy. Like,
maybe Hangover 2 might have been like the absolute
3 definitely.
high. Yeah, because 3 was like 2 put people off, I think, and 3 wasn't particularly good. So yeah, I think the Hangover was the end of comedy in a good and bad way. Dumb and Dumber released in the US on the 16th of December 1994, released in the UK the 7th of April 1995, a gap in between. However, both meant that it was eligible for the 95 award season. At the so-called major awards of 1995, it hit 2 award ceremonies. The 1995 MTV Movie Awards, which, in my research, I think might be the greatest movie awards ceremony ever. If you look at the films, the people, the winners, the nominations, the 1995 MTV Movie Awards is just Like, there's too many films to fit in. It's you go to like another category and you find another great film that wasn't in any of them so far, and another one. There's so many good films.
That's because it's the best year in cinematic history.
I think it might be
1995.
94, 95 era films was the best. So 3 nominations for Dumb and Dumber. Best on-screen duo, Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. They lost to Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock in Speed. So Jeff Daniels lost a film he was in.
Hey.
Best kiss, Jim Carrey and Lauren Holly. They were the winners. They won Best
Nice.
Kiss. And Best Comedic Performance, Jim Carrey on his own. He won. One of the nominees he beat was Jim Carrey in The Mask. So he beat himself to the best performance. So MTV say this was better than The Mask from the Jim Carrey point of view. And other major awards on 1995. The 1995 Razzie Awards. 1 nomination. Worst New Star, nominated for being in Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask, Jim Carrey. He did not win Worst New Star of 1995. It was Anna Nicole Smith in Naked Gun 33 1/3 of the Final Insult, which I think is the worst Naked Gun movie, but it's still pretty good. However, the only awards ceremony we really care about is the Saturn Awards of 1995. Dumb and Dumber is a comedy, unfortunately, so therefore absolutely zero recognition from the Saturn Awards whatsoever. But there you go, that's the awards for that. Synopsis for Dumb and Dumber. None of our regular contributors had Dumb and Dumber, so I had to go to Halo 1K. Is that a good record score to have on Halo? I don't know, but that is their name. They say this about Dumb and Dumber. Lloyd Christmas is a limo driver who's a few beers short of a six-pack. His equally close roommate, Harry Dunn...
That's the line of the century. They are using that.
Harry Dunn is an operator for a mobile pet grooming service called Mutt Cuts. One day, Lloyd is assigned to pick up a wealthy customer for a ride to the airport. He believes this customer, named Mary Swanson, is the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. Little does Lloyd know that Mary is the victim of an elaborate kidnapping and extortion plot, and that the trip to the airport was supposed to be the payoff to release her kidnapped husband. Spoiler. Lloyd grabs the briefcase, and that sets off a chain of events that sees him and Harry going to Aspen, Colorado, hell-bent on delivering the briefcase to Mary. But along the way, they meet nearly every seedy and shady character involved in the conspiracy. But Lloyd doesn't know that the briefcase he's set on delivering to Mary contains nearly $5 million in cash. And his friendship with Harry is tested at every stop along the way. Will they make it to Aspen and live the high life, or face the wrath of the kidnappers and the FBI? That is what Dumb and Dumber is about. And I genuinely always forget the plot to this film. I just think, oh, it's this one with the two stupid guys. And then that's all I ever remember about Dumb and Dumber. Who picked? It was the wheel of Sean, we think, for the last time. That's certainly the last pick of the wheel of the season. Had we seen it before? I've seen it a few times before.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not one of my absolute go-tos, but I've definitely seen it a bunch. What channel will we find it on?
4.
Oh, aye.
I went ITV2. I don't know if that exists anymore, but I think this is an ITV2 film. Which version did we watch? This is actually a genuine question this time, because I watched the Amazon Prime Video version.
I've seen 3 different versions this week.
Right.
I watched a version of bits of this film I've never seen.
Okay, so
Yeah,
actually,
no.
between you must have seen
out.
the director's cut at some point, which has a lot of extra bits, which I've yet to see.
There's a lot more gay stuff in this than I thought.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
I watched the one that you were talking about on Amazon Prime, Bruce, and then I was like, I don't remember that happening. And I remember bits being missing, so I went and watched my DVD version. And I think it's just the original, just a short version. And it still didn't have the scene I want. Then I watched Andy's one, and that had even extra stuff in it. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here? How many versions of this film is there?
Well, I was only aware of the director's cut, and then there's the UK version, which is the one I watched, the Amazon one, because I did not see it. The only way to tell is I did not see a scene where Lloyd returns to find that the old lady has taken off with his shopping and his wallet.
Yeah.
I've seen that once, I've never seen it again.
Yeah.
It's vanished.
So that wasn't in my version, and apparently that's a key thing. This is the UK version.
The bits I didn't remember was them two in the love hot tub listening to the people shagging next door. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So I saw them in the hot tub, but they were just there.
Right.
Talking about how it wasn't tacky or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. So there was a longer scene that I remember. I just don't remember
Lloyd's
that.
got his glass to an ear talking, listen to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was the scene with Lloyd basically getting done in by a trucker.
Well, that one I noticed in my edit that like obviously, is that the one where it's like for good male time?
Yes.
Come here at that time, and then all of a sudden he gets scared because it's Seabass.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Seabass comes in, and then Lloyd's all scared, and I'm like, is he scared because he thinks he's going to beat him up? Is it meant to be Seabass that's coming for the fun?
Yeah.
And then when Harry saves the day, Seabass is lying on the ground with his trousers down.
Right, because
And I'm
there's
like,
the whole scene
yeah.
where he's literally going to say, "I'm going to do you, I'm going to rape you, I'm going to do this," and then you actually see like almost full frontal like his package and his little bush hanging out. I was like, "What? I don't remember this."
There's a part as well in the diner, like why Seabass wants them. Yeah, is I'd never seen Seabass actually hawk in the burger. I've only ever seen him go like that.
Cuts away.
Yeah.
And the camera pans away.
Yep.
And then it goes back to Lloyd sitting there going, "You really wimped out." But he actually takes the burger away and eats it.
So yeah, my
Right.
my Blu-ray cut was like all kinds of new shit I had never seen
Oh.
before. But and then there was definitely a couple more gay jokes in there than I remember as well.
So maybe they had to still them out.
Aye.
Against it. But yeah, and lots of TV versions as well have different bits and pieces taken out, obviously. So there we go. That's the versions we watched. On to point 2 on the podcast, where we talk about the high points, the best bits and things about the film. Sean's not here to speak for himself because he's never here. So I don't know if anyone wants to start with
Boom
any early-
shakalaka!
I did immediately go down to best song nominees and type
Straight
it in.
away. What a soundtrack this thing has got. But yeah, that song just every single time. It just that Boom Shakalaka song is Dumb and Dumber for me every single time.
My favourite song changed about 5 or 6 times in this.
Yeah.
It was in the running, that one for all, but I think I have a better one for later
Yeah.
on. But yeah, Boom Shakalaka was a good start. Yeah, which is
It's-
so 1995. That,
Yeah.
that song literally is 1995.
I know you've we'll go into the soundtrack later on, but every song fits the scene it's in perfectly. Like them driving manically is Harry driving manically, even it fits perfectly, and then it stops for a while, and it's just I would say the Dumb and Dumber theme, where Harry Lloyd's in love with what's her name, Mary, and then it goes back to Boom Shakalaka and Harry driving wild again. I think it's just great.
Any other early high points? Because I'm at the airport. Is my first high point.
I'm literally at the airport where Lloyd's comically oversized airbag splats him in the face.
Really big airbag. The whole airport bit is really good because at this point, like obviously, I forget what the film's about. So therefore, I'm like, oh, he's an idiot, and oh, he's stupid. And some funny lines when he's in the car, like him working out. You're catching a flight, aren't you? It's kind of that's quite funny. But it's then when the reveal that she's been followed by the people who go, oh, the drop off's going to happen, blah blah blah, and all that, and then Lloyd seeing it from outside while battling this massive air thing, and it's his slide in between, picking up the briefcase and then running off towards the.
I just love the terminal bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The guy's like, you can't. I can't. I'm a limo driver. It shows his ID, and then the camera panning around to see him coming off the jetway, and then later on when it's like Harry, how was your day? Oh, not so bad. This, that, and another, and I fell off the jetway again. It's like again. It's like he's done that exact thing before. It's really funny.
Oh, he rips the piss out of Harry for losing his job. He's like, "You're one pathetic loser," despite the fact he's just lost his job.
Well, that's my next high point is the feeding of the dogs. Like, one, how does he know what the dogs want for food?
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. But there's just the dogs all coming in, and it's just like when that little tiny sausage dog wants that massive foot long. I was like, that would 100% be me.
But then how does he know that it's not his order? Like,
Because there was that other bigger dog that you don't get to see. I would definitely think it was his.
It was
That wee
fun.
cheeky sausage dog was trying to get the big one.
I wish I wish they had stuck with that. That these dogs were really, really smart. I like the dog car. I think for me, it's
Yes.
the best. Outside of a couple of lines, it's the best thing to come from this film is the dog car.
I always wanted one of these, like when I was growing up. I was like, right, my first car is I want that. But then you realize the practicality of that in the UK, it would be fucking, it would weigh a ton because
Yeah.
it gets
So much
soaked
petrol.
every other day. So it would not be practical at all.
So much
But just every
petrol.
part of it, when he's filling it up, you have to lift the leg up. It's like,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. Like, he put a lot of money into that bad boy.
It's such a nice touch, but just the way that if you on the video version you can see behind Chris, the way it has like a kind of I don't know.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, it's shaped like eyes more. Like, it doesn't need to be there, but it has the bit in the middle that comes down like a brow. It's such a nice touch as well. So yeah, I beyond the dog car, it's a wee bit longer. Like I'm well into Lloyd's dream scenario is the next.
Oh,
high
I'm
point,
before that.
So,
The little old lady.
oh well, yeah.
Like you've already mentioned it. Like the scene where he comes back and she's gone, and he chucks his money, like spins around, he's like, ugh. And then he comes back and slams the door and like crumples to the ground. They got robbed by a sweet old lady in a motorized car.
So
Do you think it was actually her? I think somebody else took it.
100% her.
Well, that's what I said. When he comes back, so the wallet is gone as well. When he comes back,
everything's gone.
Yeah,
is that part of the reveal? Because I thought I can imagine that the joke is he comes back and his stuff's gone. And he's oh god, and why did you do that? And then he goes to buy the thing to get his wallet out, and it's also gone. I think that's a good joke. I don't know why they would cut that out of the UK version. Like, what in Britain would we not get or want to see about that joke? I don't understand.
I seen it years ago when I first watched it, and I've never seen it again. Like every version I've had or watched has not been in it. It was one of the best bits.
Yeah, I reckon that's where they cut for an advert.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, it would be, yeah. Guy, because you would have come back into the room and slammed the door. That's where they come back from the advert. So
yeah,
that is a bit.
Got to see it on TV so often.
Yes,
I've seen this film so many times.
Right, well, my next high point is Petey.
Petey the parakeet. Yeah.
Oh, that's another bit I've never seen before. Is him actually break the bird's neck.
Yeah, I've seen that. I remember that.
I've seen him going in and doing it, but I've never seen him actually like is it Shay's face goes like that?
Yeah. But yeah, I just love Petey, and then when he gets sold and he's just like, he's a pretty boy. It's like that. It's perfect.
That's at this point. If you remember in the old school episode, I kept the list of the things that are in my vernacular that I use on a weekly basis. Somehow, despite the fact I've barely seen this film, there's 3 things from this film are things that I say all the time, and "pretty bird" is one of them. Like I don't know why or how, but yeah, like "pretty bird," like petting something and saying.
But how does he not feel the sellotape?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And why would a bird just like lie in your hand? Like part of the fun of having a bird would not just have this thing sitting in your hand; it'd be flying around and all that.
It was in the car when Lloyd's just like eating crisps. He's like, all of our expenditures are being accounted for. He's like, that's right, I made some 25 extra bucks. And you're like, how? And he just lists off like, bar balls, pack of cards, PE, and you're like, what? And he just gets to him just with like the sellotape in the head, just stroking his bird.
Yeah. Oh, slight segue. If you're young and you're on the TikTok, there's this great video of a parrot. So you know how you always go like, does Polly want a cracker? Right? The parrot turns around and went, no, I want some weed.
Oh, really?
Absolutely amazing. But it's actually the parrot saying it, and it just hops along, and it's like, Polly, want a cracker? And he just basically goes, no, I want some weed, and just hops away. But it's 100% the parrot saying it. It's like, what a video. Segue.
Big segue. Are we at Dreams Lloyd scenario? Said it again. Lloyd's dream scenario yet? Because it comes before the most annoying sound in the world. So I think that's.
No, I'm at the salt shaker in the diner.
I'm at the diner. Is that before his dream? Right. Okay then.
Yeah, I think so. It's like I've said before, I've never seen the version where you actually see him hawking the burger. But it's just the way how he just goes to that, whack, flops it behind him. And I don't like this film because it makes me seem stupid, because I genuinely thought you toss stuff over the right shoulder. I thought Aspen was in a warm place.
No, the tossing thing over the shoulder is true. I don't know if it's
that's to get rid of the devil on your shoulder.
Yeah. So
it's supposed to be left side though.
Ah, okay. But then it's when you spill salt, which is what he's doing. Like so.
Yeah. There's just like the things in this film that I actually believed was like, I thought Aspen was warm. On Colorado, California and stuff.
I didn't think Aspen was warm, but I thought it was west. No, I thought it was East Coast Aspen. I didn't realize it was like Colorado. I should have known from the South Park episode where they go to Aspen, but I thought it was like a posh person in like, I don't know, the northeastern America went skiing there.
But the plan for revenge, getting them to pay for the tab and just bolting.
It's really good. Really good. I need to try and remember that one if I ever make enemies in a restaurant. But the
fun fact for you fact fans, Jeff Daniels stars in the film that Lloyd is ripping off. I can't remember what it's called now. It's got Ray Liotta. He does it to Ray Liotta.
I forgot to actually look at my movie connections. Yeah. That's what I've missed this week, because I didn't think there was enough references for me to actually do it. But yeah, the way that I was like, how are they going to get away with this? And then it's when they point over at the table and the guy's like, points down. It's like, I can see it. That does make sense. I could see how a waitress would mistakenly accept that as being them offering to buy all the food. It's then when he grabs everything off the desk in front of her. It's like, and these as well. Yeah. At that point, I'm like, I'm maybe not sure this is on the right line. I'm trying to find another whatever movie reference that was. Carry on, Chris.
That's because my next point is the point that you've been trying to get to for ages. The dream sequence.
The dream sequence is amazing. The restaurant fight. I have no recollection of this restaurant fight, but it's even the bits before that. Him telling the joke at the party with and I said, "That's a nice ski mask," and everyone starts laughing. That's a reference that I was unable to connect to because for about a year straight, and I think it must have been only in like AEW, All Elite Wrestling's online stuff. Maybe once a week it would cut to Cody Rhodes when he was wrestling AEW, and he'd start a scene by going, "And that's a nice ski mask," and everybody would laugh, and then they would just carry on with whatever backstage skit they were going with. And I thought it was a Cody Rhodes thing, but it turns out it's a Dumb and Dumber reference all these, like a couple of years later afterwards. But that's funny. I enjoyed that. Him doing like fart gags and all that and getting everybody laughing at him is not, it doesn't quite hit quite as hard as that stuff does, but then when it goes into this random kung fu fight in a restaurant, it just goes to another level for me. It's probably the hardest I laughed, I think, was this kung fu fight. Up until the point where the chef comes out and he just reaches in his chest and grabs his heart.
That's a bit I always remember in this film. It's just, but I always forget where it exists in this film. But I always remember him just holding the heart.
I have no recollection of that at all. I'm trying to find your Ray Liotta movie, but it's not showing up on my list of stuff, Chris.
Find it later.
Yeah, but yeah. So that was it, and then after that, for me, it's the I was basically at this point I was writing down things that made me laugh because it's a comedy film. I know kind of what it's about now. It's like, well, the best bits are the funny bits, and the most annoying sound in the world just cracked me. I don't know what it was. It was just him going.
Well, fun fact, they just made up on the spot.
You could tell.
You could very much tell. The poor guy. What's the name of the chat? I think it's Joe. Is it Mike Starr as the kind of main goon trying to catch them? Once he comes at the picture, it's the threesome. Probably some of the funniest stuff is when it's the three of them working together.
I found a movie for you. It's called Something Wild, and it was made in 1986.
Right. Okay. Never even heard of that film.
Well, my next high point is the burger eating with the chilies. I loved it. I was just like, just chili eating thing, and then just trying to cool your mouth down.
You should do that to us all at fucking X-Fests.
And yes, we did.
Yeah, eat this chili. All right. I would just die.
Yep. That's why it was funny. But I also just like the whole, like, it kind of carries on with the whole stupidness and like the dumb parts of this film where they accidentally kill him by giving them the rat poison. I actually quite like that little touch because he's like, right, this guy's going to kill them. He's going to rat poison them. But then it all gets spun in his head. It's a nice little touch.
It's good because it's also it's seeded throughout because the guy's like, how do they know I have bad gas? And
the gas man.
Yeah, he's not the most healthy. And then he's suffering badly. Then it really bad. Get my pills and they took poisoning. I do not remember Harry and Lloyd killing a guy. That does not. I mean, it obviously ties into the end because it's important for getting the FBI involved. But I do not remember. But them killing him off was a nice twist. I enjoyed that. My next high point is the gas station. Specifically, Harry at the gas station, chatting up to the woman.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, they your skis. Yeah. Both of them. Yeah. And then again, I just cracked again at him walking up to chat to her and then going to lean on the wing mirror and just coming clean off and him disappearing off. And then as he's chatting, setting his leg on fire and trying to hurry up the conversation. And then okay. Like, and then ends up foiling it for himself. I enjoyed Jeff Daniels at that point.
I couldn't enjoy this scene because, like I said, this was the part of this extra scene where it was just like Lloyd's getting like molested.
Yeah, of course.
And I was just like, what is going on here? It's like, I didn't need to see that guy's bush, but I did. I was like, what is going on here? I do not remember any of this.
So does any version give off the idea of whether it is Seabass coming for his meeting or Seabass followed him the whole way?
That's Seabass.
Is a secret gate.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Because
Seabass
for me, I wasn't sure because not that long before in that version, the theory is he's going to chase after them and Harry won't pull the car over so he can go for a pee because we're still trying to escape from the people we ripped off. And I thought, oh, they've just caught up with them. But the implication is actually a Seabass's calling card.
Which it just makes like no sense because like why is Seabass doing it at like 2:15 a.m.? Like it's random. Like as a trucker, it's like he's very specific. He's going to be there. But yeah, this whole scene just plays out. It's just like Lloyd's getting fucked.
Yeah,
Lloyd is a Jim Carrey's scream though when he opens the door.
Yeah,
it cracks me up. But then like it just goes straight to him getting like pushed down. and then sucking his thumb. So
Sucking the
is
thumb,
the in
yeah.
between bit.
But this film
what
also
happens.
is like, I think it's one of the kind of first films where I vividly remember American toilets being super full of water, not understanding it. And it's just like, that's how American toilets are. They waste a lot of water flushing their shite.
Right, okay.
Like that's the most mind blowing fact when I went to America multiple times. It's just how much water is in their pans. The takeaway.
I got a big takeaway of what's in America.
Yep.
Any more high points? I'm sure we've got a few.
My next one's the bike ride into Aspen.
I'm certainly in Aspen now. as well.
Mine's at the tongue.
The little moped thing that they're on. Yeah.
Is the snotters?
Yes.
And when he stands up and Harry stuck to his back.
Still hanging on. Yeah.
That's just because the piss is frozen onto his back.
Yeah. And there's something about the way Jim Carrey's snot is frozen. It just looks so perfect. I don't know. Something about it is just like, that is how I picture that happening. It's really good. I think I'm beyond the skiing now, Andy. For my next
so
high point.
mine's is the tongue bit, which is the bit that always just sticks with me.
For me as well. That is, I don't think it's my moral of the story, but it maybe should be. It's basically the one lesson that's like, I cannot see like a frozen metal pole without thinking, I don't want to put my tongue on that. And it's because of this film.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely genuinely because of this
I
film.
just like the whole thing where like he's stealing what you call her, Mary, and he's having the snow fight. That's just that was my high point.
And Snowball, it's like literally an inch away from her face.
Yeah.
Let's go of it.
But it's just the fact that it's just like this has turned into a full blown fight, and then like he's like pushing her head in,
Yeah.
and then they just get up, and it's just like, that was actually a bit of fun.
And she's got like a nosebleed and everything like that, and she's like, "This is amazing." I
can't forget there's an actual like backstory of her husband's been kidnapped.
Yeah.
She's a very strange individual, as Mary. Like her character throughout, she's a little bit of everything and a complete load of nothing at the same time. Mary.
Yeah.
She's a very bizarre person. I don't know if anyone's got it for low points. So I don't know if I want to go into it now, but yeah, she's a strange person.
My other high point, it's kind of around about the same time as when like Harry's having all the fun, Lloyd's in the bar and just drinking. That is exactly how I act when I'm just like, I just want to have a few drinks, and then somebody's just there telling me their story. It's like, shut up. And it's just like, you see him, he's drinking more beers. It's like, yep, that's exactly how I would be in that situation right there. Because yeah, I just hate people talking to me in a bar.
One small point, speaking of beers that I missed, is the reaction of the trooper when he drinks the bottle of pee.
Oh, yeah.
He just has the way he's like...
I don't want to drink pee, but I'm kind of scared to see what it actually tastes like. Like, does it make you go...
I would imagine it does exactly that.
I bet it's a bit bitter, I would imagine. Sure. We've still not got to my final... I've only got one more high point, really.
I've got a couple. It's not really high points, but I love the fact that the bad guys think that they're professional hitmen. Like, they actively go out of the way to kill an owl, or they've obviously killed mental.
Amazing.
And it's just, they're just dumb and shit happens around them.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I can't deal with it. These guys are like, they're professionals. They're like the best of the best.
Well, my ultimate last high point, is the Harry toilet scene. It is by far the most realistic toilet scene I've ever seen in any film.
I don't know if he wants to see realistic toilet
scenes. No, it is. I've been in this situation where you went to a friend's house, you've had the worst shits ever, and ever since like I've done that once, the first thing I do in a new location where I'm going to have a shit, flush beforehand, just to see test the pressure. See what the flushing ratio is, in case it is a big shit, you got to flush halfway through.
It's literally toilet humor right now.
But no, it's just what I do now. Go to a new hotel, first thing I do before I'm about to drop one, just in case, because nothing worse is having a massive shit, and then suddenly you flush, it's like, oh no. And you have to call down to maintenance to come up and go, I just had a shit. That thing's not going anywhere. So,
you do that thing you bring somebody in to look. It's not flushing away, and then you flush it disappears, and you're just like, I just brought you in to look at a shit.
Not quite that bad, but no, I've had a bad experience where I went to a friend's house and the toilet was very, very poor, and I had a dodgy ending that day.
Oh,
It's the
God.
squeaker at the end that cracks me up every time.
Well, that whole scene, like once again, I don't remember that scene be like him taking the toilet off, pouring it out the window. I don't remember that at all.
That's what I was going to say. Was that what would he have to do next? But is that what happens? He lifts the toilet up and pours.
Oh,
it out the
you don't
window?
get that scene in yours.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, he's like in the top bit trying to fix it, which Chris see me do once at a hotel.
The day of his fucking wedding, he's ripping a toilet apart.
but yeah, it's like he does that. He tries to fix all the top. There's obviously his thing, and he somehow manages to take it all off, keep the poop in it, and then he's pouring it over the fucking like out the window. Like I do not remember that scene at all.
Extended versions revealing a lot here. I don't know if we're quite there yet, but we need to kind of crack on, I think. So on to my final high point, which is I like the blue and orange suits. They're very good. I enjoy them, and they're another image that lasted. But the scene I might not forget is that cracked me up like at the end. Lloyd, I'm going to stay at the bar and give off a vibe, whatever it is he says. Harry's there chatting up Amy, getting drawn to a conversation he doesn't want to have. It just keeps cutting back to Jim Carrey at the bar and all these more and more funny looking poses showing off. The whole time Harry's not even pointed in his direction or brought him up one bit to Mary in the entire conversation. But I enjoyed him. I'm going to give off a vibe over here. It's the main storyline. I don't know if it's worst plan, but the fact that Lloyd wants Mary but will take absolutely no forward steps towards getting her until he's lost her, basically, was a big mistake on his part. And that's basically my final high point.
I've got a small one. It's Lloyd's Spanish Inquisition at the end when Harry's been shot and he kind of gets up and then starts shooting around him. He does a shot and misses every single shot.
Yeah, he does a shot.
And he's just like, what if they shot you in the face? Why didn't I get a gun? Did you get a gun? Where's this? What's all this happening? It's funny.
I also like Harry going, yeah, what would happen if I get shot in the face? And everyone's ignoring that. Any other high points from you, Andy?
No, I'm done.
So to round out my quotables, so Pretty Bird is one of them. I like it a lot is one, but I know that's from this. But the other one, kick his ass, Seabass. I can't say to someone to kick someone's ass without saying Seabass after it, and I had no idea it was from Dumb and Dumber. But yeah, kick his ass, Seabass is an absolute guarantee, nailed on Dumb and Dumber reference that I accidentally make. On to point 3 on the podcast. Point 3 is the low point, so it's what the worst bits and things were about the film. Does anyone have any early going ones? Because I don't really have any until most of the way through, I think.
Mine's just kind of like an overlying thing, which kind of hits most points, is I don't like how dumb they are, but also smart. And this film always confuses me on...
It's their inconsistent dumbness.
Yes, it's like, obviously, you've got Lloyd who can't read, and then you've got Harry who could read perfectly fine. But then you've got like Harry can do like something else, and Lloyd can do this. Like, but I don't get it. It chops and changes, and obviously they try and rectify that in like other sequels and prequels, and it just makes it more confusing. It's like, are they dumb? Are they not? Are they just like stupid, like dumb luck?
Well, I think that Harry's dumb and Lloyd's dumber, because Harry knows, like I said, he knows big long words like the international preservation, whatever it was. I can't even pronounce it. And he knows that they're traveling like a sixth of the way in the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's like all this stuff.
But then he sticks his tongue to a fucking pole.
Yeah. But this is where, like, if you watch the prequel with the other two, not them, there's like a prequel where they go to like college and all that. They're dumb. They're stupid. They don't know anything. Like, they both can't read. They both can't thingy. But this film is not that. So the prequel doesn't make any sense. But this film just is so inconsistent of whether it's dumb, stupid, blind luck, whatever it is, and it just confuses me.
So I was trying to work it all the way through. It's like, it was one of the things I was going to try and keep track of, was which one's dumb and which one's dumber. And I couldn't quite tell the difference. When I got to the reading part, I'd already established something else before. So yeah, like you say, Harry can read and Lloyd just can't read, seemingly. He doesn't know anything. But throughout the film, Lloyd has ideas, whereas Harry doesn't. So Lloyd's like, oh, we could go do this, or if I do this, I can do that. And we see his dreams and all that. So I think that's the distinction, is that Harry can read and basically just does what he does, doesn't think for himself, basically. Whereas Lloyd can't read, so therefore everything's in his head. So he just like lives his life by just like this little feeling, oh, I can go do that, I want that, I want that, I need that. So I think that's the distinction, is that, I don't know, Lloyd's book dumb, but Harry's street dumb. That might be just rather than street smart and book smart. I think that's how it goes. And yes, I don't know which one's dumb, which one's dumber. But for me, I couldn't pick between them which one it was. But you're right. There are some things where they're inexplicably stupid. But I
Yep.
don't think it's. I remember it being worse. I don't think it's as bad as I remember. The dumbness. I don't think they're as dumb as I remember them being.
I mean, the ultimate scene, the thing that proves this is the very end scene, which I don't know if it was in your cut, where the beach babes come.
The bus, where he's like, no, wait.
Yeah. It's just like that scene. It's just like, yeah, you are thick as shit.
Yeah.
It's like, just get on the fucking bus, you bell ends. That's what any logical person would do.
But that's the point. I don't know. Like, Harry would be trying to think of a person because he's thinking so not imaginally. Whereas Lloyd, you would think, would have the imagination. Oh, if I do this, then I can do that, and I can do this, I can do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lloyd thinks with his trousers quite a lot as well.
So speaking of that, the extended version of the hot tub is all Lloyd is thinking about.
Yeah, he was like, he was a bang Harry.
He must have split him like an old piece of firewood.
Yeah, I was just like, what? I don't remember this scene when he's literally going to bang him.
So it's literally a love triangle then.
Yeah.
He's staring at him like weird. He's like, I could split you like an old piece of firewood.
Yeah, no, that is the line.
Take it, wouldn't you?
And then Harry's like, what? And then suddenly they start having sex next door again. He just puts his head just casually back up to the thing. It's like, what was that?
That feels like Jim Carrey trying to like break Jim Daniels. Like, I'm going to say something to make him laugh here, and then he didn't. He stayed in character.
Yeah, it's like just mind blowing. But yeah, I don't. That would probably be my other low point. Just the random extra bits that just make this film a bit homophobic.
Right.
There's other bits like it's unnecessary bits like just before Mental gets in the car, Shay goes, "All right, I need to go down and squeeze a lemon."
I've never heard of that. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Do women squeeze lemons out when they need to go for a piss?
That's the first time I'd ever heard it. And then like they come in, the Mental gets in the car.
Yeah.
But
I'm totally confused by squeezing a lemon as well.
But it's just extended bits, just unnecessarily added just to make it longer.
Some bits seem like they were better and important. Some bits just seem like just you can see why they cut it out.
Yeah.
So I've only basically got 2 low points. One of them is the hot pepper scene. I know Andy liked it, but
I did like it.
Prior to Joe basically having a heart attack or whatever it was, the 2 of them, it goes on so long of them just being like bleh, bleh, squirting mustard in their mouth.
That's what happens though.
Yeah, okay. But it's neither funny nor necessary.
I don't know.
For
Wait
like
till
a
you
minute
see Chris eat a pepper. It's fucking hilarious.
It's funny when someone you know eats a pepper, yes, and someone's really hot. But the way they go about it,
I can tolerate heat.
It was just, I don't know, just annoyed me, like the kind of the way they did it. I didn't enjoy it. And then them being evil was quite funny. But they put way too many peppers in his burger.
Oh, that's near one of them killed him.
Yeah, exactly. And then my other point, I'll go through my Chris. I'll go back to you. Is basically the last half hour of the love triangle is. It's not Dumb and Dumber anymore. It's just that we'd better have a story here, and it kind of slows down. It's not funny. Like all the humor kind of goes when it's all about Harry's doing this and Lloyd's doing that, and
it's only about this time where I absolutely hate Lloyd. It's like Lloyd is a prick. Like he stole like Harry's like childhood crush or whatever.
The other way around, you've got Harry and Lloyd mixed up.
Aye.
No, Lloyd. Lloyd does the filter.
Aye.
All right. Again, I think she was maybe mentioned in one scene, but I didn't see.
Oh no, we got quite a lot of that.
Right, I didn't see any of that.
But yeah, it's like they did that, and also this is why Harry's now stealing
okay.
Lloyd's bird.
So there's some context that would have been nice in the film.
But yeah, it does go on a bit too long, and it's just like Lloyd just comes off as an evil prick now. I know Harry's done it, but Harry's just kind of like, she likes him. Let's face it. They've had a nice snowball fight. He stuck his tongue to a bit of metal, whereas Lloyd just seems vengeful now. It's just like it's not dumb or smart.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember the first half hour flew by, but by the time I got to the last kind of 20 minutes of the film, I was just like, okay, the funny bits have stopped now. We're at the benefit, and that's not particularly funny, and all this sort of stuff as well. The owls, which I'll come to later on, the owls can go in the low points. But that's me for low points, Chris. Sorry, I stopped.
It's not a really low point, but like, why was Beth, the FBI agent, like following them since Providence? What had they actually done to be followed? Because they killed Mental out of Providence, I'm sure.
Well, they would have had people on that briefcase. Like,
Drink?
Yeah, 100%. Even though every film always starts with "don't involve the police," 100% the police would have been looking at that thing, and Lloyd's obviously the wild card, so the police wouldn't have had any tail or tracking on them, so they would have had to do a bit of research afterwards and follow the bad guys.
They did mention one thing about that, Andy. Early on, there was one mention because so when she first comes into it, they've basically done a runner from the diner, haven't they?
Yeah.
So they haven't done anything wrong up to that point. So, but yeah. So that's for low points then.
I've got a movie mistake. Just a quick one. Like when Harry and Lloyd come into the party, the Andre and Cher like talking amongst themselves, then Andre like appears on the stage and introduces everything. He's right back talking to Cher as if keep an eye on them.
In the exact
So,
same position as
yeah.
they were. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Poorly
So,
edited.
That's
I agree. Okay, point 4, the stats. 2 shits, 1 bullshit, and 1 John Denver is a full of shit, or whatever it was.
And there's a lot of actual shit.
There was some of that, yeah, exactly, yeah. No F-bombs, though. No explosions, again, unless you count...
Oh, there was one.
Jeff on the toilet.
well, no, there was a car exploded when he's taking Mary to the airport. Lloyd's not watching, and a car goes past him.
All right.
Behind Mary.
Oh, does it blow? I didn't even notice it blowing up. I saw him driving through.
An airbag's an explosion.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess it would be. So it's some minor ones, I guess. And deaths. Well, Joe died, or Joe, whatever you call him,
Yeah.
Mentally.
he dies. But I had him ripping the heart out of the chef in his dream, because basically he died on screen. But it's in a dream.
Technically, but it's a dream.
Exactly, but it's in the film. Like if you were to
Yeah.
say to a little kid, "Let's watch this film," oh, there's 2 deaths in it. Our other quoters though: no cows, no goats, definitely a dead animal. Petey the parakeet, he's well dead. No pedos though, I don't think. No occurrence of the
Lloyd wants to make love to a child.
Lloyd does want to.
a slip of the tongue, as it were. The devil was not present, and I don't think there was any KKK or Nazis involved at any point. I thought I was onto a winner with the Tom Cruise trifecta, because Lloyd runs through the airport.
Yep.
They both ride a motorbike.
Yep.
And Harry runs everything. But Lloyd does not get the girl at the end. They end up girlless. So the Tom Cruise trifecta goes unfulfilled once again.
He does get her in the dream.
He does. It does. Yeah. And Harry kind of gets her. He sort of wins her for at least a little bit. But I don't think he.
That still annoys me. Like, why would you go out partying if your husband's been kidnapped?
Again, we skipped over her again. The character of Mary, she seems like some sort of not a man child, like a woman child half the time, who's like looked after by her parents. Doesn't seem like she's married. Doesn't seem to care that she's married half the time. She seems to love the stupidity, but at the same time, she seems like she's way better than the stupidity and all that. She just seems to be just this character who fits whatever scene she's in. Oh, we'll just write her to be like this, or we'll just write her to say that. So I think she's a weak part of the film. Did they say the thing? Did they say Dumb and Dumber?
No.
They say dumber.
They just say dumber once, I think. I don't think dumb is even uttered, just dumber. Chris, any stats from you?
Yeah, I was going to count all the dumb things that happened, but it was a lot, and I got too much too soon. So I said I just counted the most nut shots I've ever seen in a movie.
At
20.
We're calling it the nut
20? My God.
With 20? A lot of...
Yeah, I got to at least 20 of that. Because some of it happens off screen, you just hear the noise. So I was like, I'll go to about 20.
Yep.
Okay. And then there's one bite.
One bite, yeah. And that's us for stats. We've rattled through them. On to point 5, which is the 10-point podcast quiz. Andy, you are the quiz.
Jesus.
Right. So this one, the Don's going to love this one.
Right, is he?
This one is a Dumb and Dumber quiz, but it is school kid questions to see how dumb and dumber you are.
Right.
Okay.
Are you 12-year-old or whatever it's called?
Pretty much, yeah. Are you smarter than a 12-year-old? Right. So we'll go. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Did I go first last
right,
time?
Bruce goes first. Right. Bruce gets question 1. Right. So these are all academic questions, and they're mostly about Scottish academic questions as well.
Okay.
Right. But some are they're a bit universal, like the first one. In which sport would you use a vault?
Would you use a vault? I would say gymnastics.
Yeah, gymnastics. Nice and simple.
Okay. I thought you were going for more specific. I was trying to think of what it's called.
Nope. Chris, in mathematics, what is the opposite to division?
Multiplication.
Yes. Like I said, these are all just like slow school kid questions. Should be easy. Bruce.
Yeah.
In 1306, which famous Scotsman took the throne?
In 1306, which famous Scotsman took the throne? Robert the Bruce?
Yes, it was Robert the Bruce.
Was that good? I thought I was later than that.
Chris. Harry Redburn was arguably Scottish. Wait, I'll start again. I'm hammered already. Harry Redburn is arguably Scotland's most famous what? I.e. profession. What was Harry Redburn famous for?
Harry Redburn.
Artist.
Oh.
Painter.
I'll give you
Sculptor.
it. Painter. It was a painter.
That's fine.
Bruce,
I won't argue that one.
who wrote the poem Tam O'Shanter?
Who wrote Tam O'Shanter? Was that Robert Burns?
It was Robert Burns, yes. Chris, Bon Scott was the lead singer of which rock band?
Who?
Bon Scott.
Fuck knows. Wait.
It was not wait. Bruce?
AC/DC.
Oh, that's Marty Pello.
It is AC/DC, yes.
AC/DC. He was the first.
Oh, I thought AC/DC, but I didn't realize he was Scottish.
He
Or
was
just
the
'cause he
original.
got Scottish in.
Yeah.
The original singer was, and then it was an Englishman was the second one.
Bruce, where am I? Which which scientist is credited for having created the first practical telephone?
Alexander Graham Bell.
Correct.
The
Chris,
names in the order.
this question is 100% you. What is an oxymoron?
Something that doesn't make sense.
Nah, I need a bit more than that.
How else can you describe it?
Yeah.
I just see it as something that doesn't make something factual doesn't make sense or something. I don't know.
No, that's not what the Oxford English Dictionary says. Bruce, over to you.
So it's like, I don't know. It's like something that says the opposite of what it is. It's, I don't know. It's like a dark light is an oxymoron. I think.
Why would you say that? Think of the Oxford Dictionary. How would they?
What would it say? What is an oxymoron? And Chris said that oxymoron. I don't know. I can't. But I literally would have said it's something that doesn't make sense.
It's
Something,
a contradictory figure of speech.
contradiction. Yes. Okay.
Yes, so
yeah,
I
fair
would have
enough.
took contradiction.
Contradiction.
Who am I going next? Is it Bruce?
Bruce.
First, yeah.
Here's a hard one for you. This was genuinely in like a school test. What are the 3 definitions of the word dumb?
Good question. So dumb is to be stupid or silly would be one.
Yep.
One would be unable to speak.
Yep.
Would be
Speechless
dumb.
or tongue-tied. I'll take that.
Dumb. Would it be related to like dumbbells and something? So is it like heavy?
Nope.
No,
It's
I don't know.
actually a very similar thing. So I'll give you the point because you got 2 out of 3.
Okay, thank you.
But one, so basically, it's speechless or
Fair.
tongue-tied,
Mhm.
stupid,
Uh-huh.
or the ability to
Inability
is
to
that-
speak.
the basically what I was about to do. Basically, the inability to speak. As in
Right. Okay.
You're deaf and dumb.
So it's basically this is not non-speaking.
But yeah, one's like speechless, as in you get knocked back. You can't speak. You're like
Right.
"Oh."
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm
like
dumbfounded.
dumbfounded.
dumbfounded,
There we go.
yeah.
Right, okay.
Chris, I don't know what the scores are, but we'll do a couple more.
Bruce is
I'm in,
like
I'm in the
5-3
lead.
or something
I'll
like
say
that.
that much.
Okay, Chris, electronics is a branch of which science?
What?
Electronics is a branch of which science?
Technology?
No,
Science?
Bruce.
Physics.
Physics, correct. Just like Bruce dominating you there.
I remember learning how to rewire a plug in physics, so that stuck with me. I think.
Right. Bruce, rice, bread, maize, wheat, egg, and vegetables are all examples of what?
They all examples of.
Rice, bread, maize, wheat, eggs, vegetables are all examples of what?
Are they carbohydrates?
Nope. Chris? He's never
Gluten.
getting this. Nope. They're staple foods.
No.
Right. Okay.
It's nice and simple. And Chris, which city is affectionately known as the Granite City?
Granite City. Fuck, I feel like I've heard this before, but I can't think.
Has Chris been there, Andy? Do you know if Chris has been there?
I don't think he's been there, no. He's getting thrown over Bruce.
But Blackpool.
It's not Blackpool.
Aberdeen.
It's Aberdeen. There you go. Bruce dominated in the old
Right,
high
yes.
school quiz.
I ate to tell you what the scores are, but I won 8-2. So
I only got 2.
So
Good.
Chris,
'cause I got
Chris is
3 of yours right.
effectively a dumb shit.
Yeah,
That'd
I'm,
be a
Well, I only got
fail.
asked like 4 questions, so I think I knew some of his ones.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
yeah, you should have gone first. Anyway, on to point 6. I can count
Doesn't
that
matter
much.
where I would have been.
Ah,
Point
here
6.
we go.
Movies within movies is point 6. Chris, you can redeem yourself by telling us all the people that we have had before from the 10-point podcast universe.
I need to miss it, folk. Obviously, Jim Carrey, Lloyd. He was in the Cable Guys Chip. And me, myself, and Irene as Charlie and Hank. Is that only 2 we've done with him?
I think
feel
so.
like we've
It feels
done
like
more.
it's more, but I think that's it. I think.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
Karen Duffy as Shay was in Last Action Hero as herself.
Played herself.
Yeah.
Like, I can't find why she's famous. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why would she just be herself in it? So she might just have been in the film because she was there. I don't know.
Didn't that not come out like a year after this? So maybe she was quite big then.
For like
No.
6 months.
Cam Neely as Seabass was in Me, Myself, and Irene as the Trooper Seabass.
Did you know he's a famous NHL player? That's why he's in these films. Why
I
he's-
did not.
He's like he would be our cameo, or he'd be Danny John Jules if we liked ice hockey.
Right.
So
Wow.
yeah, Cam Neely.
I did not need to see the guy's bush. I'll put you
Yeah, but actually he was Seabass and then he was Trooper Seabass, like Chris said. So I don't know if he's meant to be the same guy in Me, Myself, and Irene or not. But
Maybe he's turned his life around
Yeah.
maybe.
after raping and stuff
Yeah.
and hawking loogies at people. Rob Moran was the bartender. He was also in Me, Myself, and Irene. There's a theme as Trooper Finneran, who carry on.
No, so you carry on.
I was he's the one that talks about Charlie's kids as he's cutting up the sausages.
Yeah. Again, I wonder if he's meant to be the same character as well, because he's just bartender in this, so it could be the same sort of guy. But there's a theme of Me, Myself, and Irene here.
This is about as far as I got, but Zen Gesner, who is Dale's #1 man, was also in Me, Myself, and Irene as Agent Peterson or Ronaldo lookalike.
So he is an FBI agent in both films. So I wonder if again he's meant to be the same guy. Or
Yeah.
not. But yeah. He was the lesser of the two FBI. So I got as far as doing 4 more, and then I called quits on it as well, Chris. So I'm assuming you have no more now.
Oh, that's just...
The old lady, Connie Sawyer, the one
I
who,
looked at her. What the fuck has she been in?
when Harry met Sally, she was one half of one of the old couples from the
Uh,
fake documentary interviews that we
I
thought
mean,
were
she
real.
was.
But she was one of them because I recognised her. I was like, what was
Yeah.
her from? So it might be from that. Lynn Shay. So she's Mrs. Newcomboran, the woman who has all the dogs. She
I
shows
didn't
up in
look
all
at
these
her.
films as well. She's in Me, Myself, and Irene as Mrs. Caleron. I didn't research what character that was, but she's in that as well. But she's in all the Farrelly Brothers stuff. She's mainly her big roles in the Sonic about Mary, I think. But she was also in The Running Man as well as a propaganda officer. I don't
Amazing.
recognise her from that. Sean Gildy was one of Seabass's friends. He
I
was
didn't
in
look at any of them either.
Me, Myself, and Irene as kid's father. I don't know which one, but also Me, Myself, and Irene. And as far as I got, I thought I've never beaten this one. Veni El Corasi. She's one of the bikini girls, put it that way.
All right.
She was an office worker in Minority Report.
Was she?
Yeah.
I didn't even look at any of them because I thought they were just models from some random.
Yeah. I got to the
Magazine.
third. I think she was either the second or the third one down. And I was like, well, I'm not beating that. That's the most random tenuous link. So there we go. A bunch. There's probably more. But there you go. Have you recast this into the film, Chris?
I did. I put myself as Harry and Andy as Lloyd. Like it was the extra gloves thing that did it for me for Andy. I was like, 100% something he would do.
Yeah.
I put you as mental, like in between us in the car, like
Yeah.
and just driving you to the point of an early death.
That's a good point. I feel like the problem would be though, and that I think Andy would be likely to be the one annoyed by you and me. But Andy would definitely be the one driving, would be the problem. So yeah, that would quite work. But yeah, I'll take it. I didn't recast it. I found it too hard, and I thought I had to make 2 of us Dumb and Dumber, and I wasn't going to make me Dumb and Dumber. It was going to be you 2. So I'll just leave it there. Andy, have you done any recasting?
Well, like I said, I was trying to put like people currently in like thing, but you could obviously probably still have them because this came out a couple of years ago again.
Yeah.
However, if you wanted to completely redo it, I reckon The Rock and Kevin Hart genuinely would work in this one. Like, I'm not just saying it, I genuinely think it would work.
Was Central Intelligence, was that not that?
Yeah,
Am I-
pretty much. Yeah, one was dumb and one's like thingy. Because like that's when they had the what do you call it? Is it Mark Wahlberg and thingy just jump off the building? They were stupid.
No, that was
Is that the other one?
the other guys. that
Oh, the other guys. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
get
I feel
confused with them all. They're all about the same, but
yeah, I feel
But
like
no,
Central
genuinely, I
Intelligence-
think it is a Rock Kevin Hart type thing. We can't cast 2 white folks in this, so I feel like we'll go with the times. The Rock and Kevin Hart, they would work. Or
Keenan and
a
Kel.
female version.
Yeah.
Female version. That's what we go. It'd be 2 comedians off of Saturday Night Live. who
It
were
would
female.
be, but I
That's what
reckon if you put Anna Taylor-Joy in it, because it would be a tank film already,
she's in everything.
and then just insert generic white female as well.
You have to have the
It would end
comedy.
up being Melissa McCarthy. And
It would
Sandra
be,
Bullock.
100%. It would be
No, it'd be Melissa McCarthy and what do you call it, Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig, yeah, 100%. That's
Oh,
exactly
yeah,
how it
yeah.
would be.
But then we're already at Bridesmaids again. They don't need
Yeah.
to remake Bridesmaids.
But no, I genuinely think Rock and Kevin Hart would do a version of this.
Okay. On to my ones. Could have stuck about in 1995. It did. Dead Man Walking was a different one because I didn't think anyone was going to die, so I didn't pick out Joe. So I went Bad Guy Walking because the first time I saw Mr. Andre come in to be like, "Oh, I'm a friend of the family. Oh, this is horrible." I was like,
He's just
He's in
dressed
on
like
it.
a bad guy.
"Yeah, he's in." And then like the next scene he's in is revealing he's a baddie. I'm like, "Oh well, there you go. That was it." So that was a tough one. What happens next? Well, Dumb and Dumber 2, but not Dumb and Dumberer. Am I right in thinking Dumb and Dumberer comes out next?
Yes.
But it's a prequel with young ones. So
Yes.
Dumb and Dumber 2, which was like 20 years later. And who's in the wrong movie? I think Mary's in the wrong movie.
Yep,
I don't think she
100%.
knows what movie she's in. Other than that, it's hard. Everyone kind of fits. Everything, it works. And I would keep both Harry and Lloyd. I wouldn't just make it about one of them because you kind of need both. So quite a tough week for me there. And in terms of movie references, I left most of them out because
There was
they're either
loads,
very
the little dance from City Slickers.
yeah, there was
What?
When he doesn't get the money, get the gold dance. Harry
That's-
does, Lloyd does that.
the really old cowboy reference that I've now
Oh, yeah.
immediately forgotten what the film was that he does in City Slickers 2, isn't it? I think. Anyway, on to point 7, the tropes that need to die from the movies. Chris, why don't you lead us off?
What was it?
You have a think, and let's hear Chris's.
Well, not so much this one because it does it. It's the opposite, but the makeover montage, right? Making this ugly person, because a kid just bursted into the living room.
Yeah, we can hear them. And he shouted "ugly person" at them.
Ugly person, get out.
Making beautiful. Oh my god! 2 seconds.
No, okay. We've got your trope. My one is let's travel
Oh my
all the
God,
way.
kid. Yeah.
Let's travel all the way across country without telling this person I'm coming to see them. As a movie trope that needs to die. It was
Don't
a
have
very-
kids. That's
Don't
the
have
next
kids.
part, by the way.
Trope, yeah. And Andy, have you remembered? what
Mine
your one was?
says when people eat hot stuff and it makes that like boiling kettle
Oh,
noise.
yeah, I know.
Right, yeah.
It's in
The
everything.
steam.
It just annoys the shit out of me, like steam coming out. It's like, no.
No.
When you eat hot things,
They
that's not
went
what
didn't go as
happens.
far as steam. They did have the whistle though.
They had the whistle noise, which always annoys me. It's like, I get it, it's hot. You don't need to do it. It's
Really-
it's in every fucking film there.
Okay, on to point 8, nominations for the Pointy Awards. If Chris is available, we'll have him lead off
I
and we'll
am.
argue with him.
He's giving somebody the
oh.
stink eye though.
Because they're still standing there. This was a tough one. I went for. I'm gonna say Jim Carrey over Jeff Daniels as best actor.
I mean, he is the lead, isn't he? Because
See, I'm going to give it to Jeff Daniels. I feel like Jeff Daniels is out of his comfort zone in this one. Considering he just played Speed. Like, he was just a straight
Yeah.
cop, straight shooter. Jim Carrey's always Jim Carrey in everything he does.
I'm going to
Oh,
compromise.
I'll accept it. I'll accept Jeff Daniels.
I'll
as best
compromise for everyone and say him as best supporting because I don't think he's the lead character, but I think he's good enough. I don't
It's
think
all
anyone
about
else.
Harry. It's Harry's story.
It's not. It's Lloyd's story. That's the thing.
No, it's Harry's story.
I feel like he has fewer scenes on his own than Lloyd does.
It's like Clerks all over again. We're gonna get a film with Harry's version, and he's gonna make us hate Lloyd even more.
right. Yeah.
My biggest bell end was Lloyd. Right, he sold
100%.
a blind kid a dead bird.
Yep.
He sold Harry out with sea bass.
Yep.
And he made Harry have the shits.
And he stole Lloyd, Harry's girlfriend, childhood
Oh yeah,
sweetheart.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think that provides a different context because I had Harry as being the biggest bell end because at the first chance he gets, he takes the woman that Lloyd's travelled across the country to.
Nah.
But
I'm
then
on-
you've had these extra
stepmom.
backstories.
Yeah.
She
bits.
forced
I'm
him.
saying Lloyd's the biggest bell end.
Yeah, I'll resign. I'll take Harry off the table. For the bell end then that's fine.
My best villain's a little old lady. Absolute
Oh.
criminal mastermind.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Take that.
My best inanimate object was the dog van.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, I was going to nominate the bird, but I thought that would be too harsh. So I'll go with the dog van.
My best plan was they're getting Seabass to pay for their stuff.
Yeah, pretty good plan.
So I went for the FBI and Harry plan at the end. Like I had no
That's
idea.
my worst plan. Is
Well,
giving
yeah.
a civilian a gun.
I've got a worse plan.
I would say I'm kind of with Chris on this one, yeah, because they give him a gun, which I don't think the FBI are allowed to do, and
Exactly,
also,
yeah.
and also just what happens if you get shot in the face?
Wouldn't going to
You could've
Aspen
just-
all the way across country with no money and basically no car, not telling the person you're coming, not knowing what you're taking with them, and then spending all the money as soon as you get it when you get there, which was the thing you were taking, to then not have the thing you were taking upon getting there? Is that not the worst plan?
100%. You think of it, what a thrill it would have been to do that. That would have been a great adventure. And
How much money was in
100%,
that?
5 million.
Yeah,
And
it's short.
100%, if I open a briefcase with 5 million, I'm spending that motherfucker.
Oh, you'll never see me again if that happens.
Like, I
I'm
don't
going.
give a
I
like,
think
I
I'd
mean,
still fuck it.
I would have been like opened up. I'd be like, let's get out of Aspen right now. Let's go spend this somewhere else.
Yeah, somewhere else. There you go. Not leaving Aspen when they get the money might be a better idea. Okay, I'll give up my stance 2-on-1.
What'll be? Well, I'll say best twist is briefcase full of money. That's fairly
Nah,
obvious.
seen that
No, it's
coming.
not a twist, is it? Because they say
Harry's
there's a
working with the
briefcase full of money.
FBI. Is that the best
You see,
twist?
that was a good twist. The wee twist at the end.
Mm.
Well, the toilet
My
doesn't
worst
flush. What twist?
What special effects was the owls?
Definitely. Absolutely had that as well.
Best fight was Lloyd's dream fight with all the people.
Can't argue that. It's one of my favourite bits.
There's a lot of the dreams come up, by the way.
Alright.
Best line. I've never noticed this before, and I've mentioned it already. Is when Lloyd is sending Harry to speak to Mary. Lloyd says he's got a rapist's wit.
I'm not sure because obviously he's misquoted something, but I'm not
Like
sure.
a rapier wit or something like that.
Is
I
it
think
rapier
isn't it?
sharp wit or something like that? Maybe, yeah.
Ah,
My
'cause it's
best
like a
line
sword.
was best line for me was kick his ass, Seabass, because I can't say kick someone's ass without saying Seabass at the end.
I've not got best animal, but was Petey the best animal before he met his demise?
I don't know. The wee sausage dog ordering the foot long.
Feeding the dogs, yeah.
Okay. The worst cop was piss breath, like not listening to the guys when they're trying to tell him not to drink it.
I think he had reasonable, like, what's the word? Reasonable cause to inspect.
Oh yeah,
the
he could have
balls.
tried, but I just be like, no. It's like, why not? Because it's got pee in it. Okay.
But they might be like, no, it's full of booze, and then you can't tell that it's booze until.
I
you
mean,
drink
I reckon if I had beer bottles and stuff like that, and police pulled me over, they're gonna have to check it, and 100% it's gonna be full of piss.
My best song. This has changed hundreds of times, by the way. I went for The Rain, The Park, and the Other Things by the Cowsills. That's the dream song.
I didn't have that. So
No.
I had Boom Shakalaka, but I bend it off for by the Crash Test Dummies because I love that song, and
What
that's
is
one
that?
of it's gonna. It's hard to. They don't sing in it. It just plays the tune. But that's my nomination. I love that song, and it's again a very 1994.
I'm doing
song.
boom shakalaka.
We'll stick with Boom Shakalaka then.
Well,
'cause I think-
We'll just nominate the soundtrack because every song's a fucking banger.
Boom shakalaka.
there's another one in between my two, but I forget what it was now. But
Why
yeah.
is this the other one that sounds like Ghost Riders in the Sky, but it's not Ghost Riders in the Sky?
The sounds coming to me, but I couldn't tell you the song. The best costume, I'm going to say the iconic blue and orange suits.
If the car counted, maybe it, but it has to be the blue, the baby
Yeah.
blue and the orange suits.
The worst costume is Harry's ski suit.
Harry's one.
Oh,
No,
there's
I
a
liked-
point of that.
I liked Harry's one. I didn't like Lloyd's except for the furry boots.
There's a point where he's putting the suit on and he goes, "What are you wearing?" He's like, "Oh, this is my ski suit." He goes, "It's a bit tight." I was like, "It doesn't matter. You've got a wee lump anyway." So that's why he puts his short on, the short to hide his little lump.
Let's see.
Best kiss was Lloyd's dream kiss with Mary.
What kiss?
It won an MTV Movie Award. It was a good
Exactly.
one.
I'll let you fill in the gaps.
Best character name: Lloyd Christmas.
Yep.
Confirming once again, this is a Christmas movie.
Merry Christmas, which we luckily got in there with the
Yeah.
Christmas theme. Sean lucked out on this bit.
It is. Best cop is the gas station bar woman, FBI agent. She's the best cop because I didn't know
Really?
she was a cop and she was working undercover. The one who kind of.
Oh, there you go. That's the best twisted.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, her working for the FBI and then Harry working for the FBI, and also she was the one most hot on the case. Best death, I think Joe. It's either him or the
Oh, I
chef.
forgot
but
about
the
that.
chef's
It's only
not really
death.
not really a death. Best Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah, keep forgetting that.
Where are we now? Best stunt was the flying dog car. The image I have in my head is
Yeah.
the car as it flies.
That's always the trailer or the movie poster for me.
Exactly, yeah. Stupidest character. Did we decide which one was stupid or which one is dumber?
I think Lloyd.
But Lloyd's dumber.
He's
Right.
the dumber one. I reckon.
We'll go with Lloyd. Lloyd is the stupidest character. And we've done that one. And I've got the worst villain as being the guy who actually was the bad guy. Like the
He was
friend.
pretty shit. And then called like where they were tied up. Well, two of them were tied up. Other one wasn't, and then booking his flight to Amsterdam.
And then he asked for a vegetarian meal as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the ultimate villain move right there.
And that's me. Any other nominations from you, Andy? I couldn't get a best product placement. I could not.
I
think of
did.
one.
I've been drinking them all night. Coors Lights.
Ah,
like that for
Like
was a good
literally, that was
product.
Lloyd's beer of choice all throughout the film was the Coors. Oh, I froze again.
product placement for me. So there we go. On the point 9 then, the moral of the story. What lesson are we supposed to learn? I know what my moral of the story here is. Bros before hoes was the moral of the story.
Mine says, don't kill people you don't know. Mental says that to Shay. You don't kill people you
Right.
don't know. That's a rule.
Okay.
Mine says,
That's
don't be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, if you
that's
see a
always good.
briefcase, don't get involved. That could be a bomb.
Don't get. Leave it be.
Oh.
Exactly. Call security. That's what you do. Okay, the 10th point is the 10-point rating where we rate the movie out of 10. Sean picked it on the wheel, so he's not here to pick it. He's not here to score it first. So Andy, we'll start with you alphabetical order wise.
This is kind of one of these films that it's like stood the test of time. They've done prequel, which was shit. They did a sequel, which had one funny bit in it. But I did not like this film at all. Like, this is a film I don't get. It's stupid. It's not funny at times. It doesn't know where it's being. And yeah, the end really tails off. So it only gets a 4 for me.
Only a 4 from Andy.
Jesus.
I've just got meh. Not that funny,
What?
but it is not bad. Like, I had worries this film was going to be bad. Like, ooh, like that's not funny. That's not funny. Oh, you can't do that anymore. And like things that didn't make me laugh. But I got some laughs. It really tails off the second half. Once they start, it's not Jim Carrey, Jeff Daniels being stupid. It's more like this is what the film's about. It gets a bit boring. But I think it's better than a 4, I think. So I've gone for a 5 just because I struggle to find bad bits. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to really rank it lower if it's not bad. Chris, how are you scoring?
I want to buck the curve because this could be one of my favorite comedies of all time. Like,
Are you
I know,
smoking glue?
I know I've been watching like 3 or 4 different versions. I know it's something different every time, but like, it still makes me laugh to this day. Like some of the scenes, like I will give you like the end bit is a bit shit after Harry in the toilet, but
That's
I think it's a fucking belter of a film. I guess a 7 for me.
7. I thought you were going to go really high.
Ah, so did I.
Oh, no,
I love Chris when Billy builds it. And it's like, oh, this is a fucking 9. This 7.
Well, I mean, I could give it a 9 because I don't know if I enjoy this more than Me, Myself, and Irene.
I
No,
did.
I'm changing it as an 8. It's on par with Me, Myself,
Oh,
and Irene.
controversial.
God,
I don't think we've ever had a sway change.
It does actually bump it up, to be honest. So
I've got it a 10. Let's bump it right up.
No. We're not doing that. So it's now a 6 out of 10 for Dumb and
That's the
Dumber.
wrong score right there.
Yeah, it's a wee bit high, I would say. Unfortunately, that would be looked down upon for the Academy of the 10-point podcast, with it being one person given such a high rating. It doesn't work well in tiebreakers, unfortunately. A 6 out of 10 for Dumb and Dumber. Rounding out our random wheels selections for the season, meaning that the 5 films the wheel has picked us have been Dumb and Dumber, The Shining, Old School, Batman Begins, and all the way back in the summer, Beautiful Creatures, which I can't believe is in this season at all.
I keep forgetting about it. I'm going to say Vigilantes.
To be honest, I can't really remember what happened in Beautiful Creatures. Never mind what.
Shit.
The
Shit
Shining-
films. Dumb shit.
I think it, yeah.
Because-
I would say a man taking it into his own hands, like taking life by the I don't know. It's a one-man
people?
quest, but what's that?
Helping people. I can't remember what it's called. The guy goes in to try to help him. He gets killed though.
How does The Shining helping people?
The guy tries to help
Oh,
him
yeah.
and gets
Halloran.
killed. That's his name, Halloran.
I don't know. I don't think that's a theme. I think
Snow.
it's too random. Snow, Dumb and Dumber, The Shining, old school. The snow and
There's no
old.
snow.
I'm sure there's snow in there.
Oh, well, they're in California. Well, they're not actually. We don't know where they are. But yeah, tough. A hard one. I don't think there's a theme between the 5 random wheels.
People.
There's people.
There's people in every film.
People involved. Let us know if you're listening, if you think there's a theme between those 5 films. Next time, Chris, who definitely does have a theme. So Chris is carrying on his theme.
And he's pretty much spelt it out for us, and still we can't get
He's
it.
literally been spelling out. We don't know what he's talking about. Clerks
Apart-
2,
Yeah.
Catch Me If You Can, City Slickers 2,
The
whatever
Curse
it
of
is,
Curly's
the
Gold.
Curse of Curly's Gold, because he has to have that bit for whatever it is, and then Waiting. So it's not films that begin with C.
And Jobs, which was the perfect theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
what?
Chris-
The next one as well. The job begins with C.
Right. So
So,
what? So it's not Clerks, Con Men, Cowboys, Waiters, and whatever is next.
Well,
Why don't you tell us the fifth
Custodials.
one, and we'll have a think about it.
Well, I'm going to do a Bruce, and I'm going to start in the middle of a franchise like he did with Batman Returns, and it's going to involve a profession beginning with C, which is cops. And it's quite convenient since you mentioned Police Academy
Oh,
remake
God.
before. I'm doing Police Academy 4.
It's got to be 4, right? Let's see.
Oh my god.
And I'll tell you my theme now.
All right.
It was Bobcat Goldthwait.
So it's the same person in all these films.
No. Jane Silent Bob. Bob's the name. And like I said,
Right.
it's Clerks as throws a bug. Then you've got Catch Me If You Can.
Oh god.
Right.
Then
Okay.
you've got Six Like
God.
Two Curse of Curly's Gold. And
Right.
Wicked.
And wait.
Goldthwait.
So Bob is a character in Clerks. You should really have done.
I was going to do
Pick
Jane
back.
Silent Bob, but because somebody said I didn't pick Clerks and he was in it, so that's the only one that's kind of bucking the train a bit. So my
Oh, God.
I could have done Scrooged actually, but
And then
I wanted
Bob,
Police Academy. There's a reason for Police Academy 4, and you'll find out next week.
is Bobcat Goldthwait in it?
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Let's get our
that's
Police
and
Academy
then, all right.
4.
why you picked. Is he not in the first one? No.
I think he's in one. He's not in
He's
two.
in all of them.
He's not in all of them.
Right.
Sure he is.
Okay. So
He's the
are you
bad
gonna
guy
watch?
in
There's
the
a
first
reason.
one.
The reason I wanted to pick 4.
Right. Okay.
And
Are
I'll
you gonna
tell you why.
watch? Are you gonna watch 1, 2, and 3 prior to the next podcast so you can give us all the background on all the characters?
No.
All right. Okay. Because I feel like I went.
maybe 3 because he's I don't know.
Oh,
I'll see.
God.
Right. Okay. So there we go.
I thought
rounding-
I was going to end on like the controversial thing of this season. Chris is just throwing spanners out the fucking. Here we go.
I still haven't. I'm picking next. I think I had no idea what film I'm picking because someone took The Shining. There
Yeah,
you
I was
go.
inadvertently picked 5 comedies. I didn't mean that. Well, 5 comedies.
Oh, my
So,
God.
well, Catch Me If You Can's a bit iffy, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You all have a week to watch Police Academy 4. Watch the first 3 if you fancy. I don't know if there are a box set sort of
They
handy.
all kind of stand by themselves.
We'll see. We will see. The 4th Police Academy movie. There you go. 7 days, and we'll see you next time on the 10 Point Podcast.